This video was brought to you by manco.trade. This site allows you to instantly trade off your unwanted TF2 items for other various TF2 items. Any money that will be left over in one of your trades that you overpaid by gets added to your wallet, which you can then use in future trades. They also hold pretty regular giveaways, so the link to manco.trade will be down below. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joe and welcome to a brand new video, and this is something I haven't really done on the channel before, but today I'm going to be looking through the Steam Workshop at some effects that I feel like could potentially make their way into Team Fortress 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, the majority of unusual effects in the game at the moment came from the Steam Workshop. They're community created effects that Valve implemented into the game, right? And back when the last Scream Fortress dropped, I was initially going to make a video and I got about halfway through recording it and the update dropped, so I never got around to finishing it. So I figured now I'm back on the Steam Workshop and I'm going to make the video of some unusual effects that I feel like we could see added to the game in future updates. So yeah, I mean, without further ado, we can get straight into it. Apologies for no uploads the past couple of days. I've been working on this, which is pretty cool. You know, I've just kind of like got into music recently, so that will be in the outro, and if you want to check it out, it will be down below. And without further ado, let's get into the first effect. So this one is called Moonbeams, and as you can see, it's essentially like a moon version of sunbeams, right? But it's a bit more subtle in my opinion. It doesn't stand out as much as Sunbeams does. The rays don't go as far. I feel like if this was added, it would definitely be a bit of a lower tier effect in comparison to Sunbeams. But this would be so big for potential combinations. Like even things like Blizzardy Storm and Frostbite, etc. would go amazingly with this. I feel like this would be a great layering effect if we were to see it on some Mists. This next one I'm a huge fan of. It's called Frost Storm, and it's essentially a mixture, I'd say, between Blizzardy Storm and Frostbite. It's like an exaggerated version of Blizzardy Storm where you can see the snowflakes falling down individually. The cloud is much brighter and stands out a lot more. It's essentially like a higher tier version of Blizzardy Storm is how I'd describe it, and this thing is amazing, man. I'd love to see this added into the game, maybe in a winter update or something. It would be particularly relevant, and I could definitely just imagine this, man, for sure. Like, I could imagine this effect being added into the game. I could imagine this being in crates and being, I think it would be like a mid-tier effect. It would definitely be more expensive than Blizzardy Storm. It depends how limited it is as well, but this would definitely be super awesome to see in game. This one is amazing to me. Will it be added into the game? I can't imagine it ever being added just because of how bright and stuff it is, but I'd love to see it added. It's called Pyro Visionary, and it's essentially like a Pyrovision version of things like Arcana and Spellbound. As you can see, we've got the glow and like the sparkle particles flying upwards, but as opposed to being just like purple or just green, it's just a mixture of every single color. It's a rainbow version, and it's so amazing. I think it's incredibly flashy. It'd be a super high tier effect. And if they were to add this into the game, it would most likely be in a Halloween update. Now, I'd love to see this added. I just can't imagine it being added purely for the fact that it's very similar to Arcana and Spellbound, and it would just blow them out the water. But if this was added, it would definitely be a must cop for me. This one stood out to me a lot as something I could definitely imagine being in the game. This is the effect known as Bright Eyes, and as you can see, it's essentially like a mixture between the sort of Stare from Beyond effects, where it's got the eyes through the cloud, and it's got like the kind of colours of Harvest Moon. It's this kind of like smoggy green colour. And the eyes, as opposed to just being little circles like in Stare from Beyond and the Ooze and Amaranthine, it's these like snake eyes, which I just think is such a fantastic detail. And although it's only green, I could definitely imagine there being different colour variants of this, maybe a red or a purple. I could fully imagine, and this is just amazing, man. This would 100% be in a Halloween crate if it was to be added. I could guarantee that. This is quite a cute little effect. This one is called Fright Asphere, and as you can see, it's this big sort of circle with a spiraling ghost in the middle of it, and there's 3 different versions of this. There is Necrospawn, Purgatory, and Fright Asphere, each with a different colorway, very similar to Hellfire, Darkblaze, and Demon Flame in the colors used. It's the orange, the purples, and the greens, I should say. But this is just amazing. I really like the concept for this. It's this big, like, almost hell spiral with a ghost coming out of it, and the ghost gradually persists on coming out as the effect kind of goes on. It would be really easy for them to implement this. That's 3 effects for a Halloween crate. Of course, this would be a Halloween effect. I mean, it's a ghost. You can't really go against that. And yeah, I'd love to see these added, man. My favorite out of these would probably be the Purgatory, just because I love the colors. If you didn't see my tier list, the greens and purples in unusual effects, they just have a special place in my heart for whatever reason. So these would be some effects that I'd like to see added for sure. So now we've got the first unusual taunt effect for this, and it's called Mystic Fusion. And look at this, man. This is such a beautiful effect. It's this almost angelic glow with these light blues and purples sort of coming together and spiraling around the class and slowly spiraling up into this glow almost surrounding the character. I love this thing, man. I would love to see this added, maybe in some different colours as well. As you can see in the tags, it is Smithmas, so this person kind of intended it on having that wintry theme. But if they wanted to make it a Halloween one, for example, they could definitely do a green variant of this that would absolutely bang as well. I just think this is such a pretty effect, and I would love to see this added. So who made this actually? Cordial. Right, Cordial, you smashed this. I'd love to see this added. I'm even gonna... I've put my little vote in as well. I've only just remembered you can do that. But for sure, this is such a pretty effect. I would love this. Combine it with something like a frostbite hat and you have got the prettiest loadout I've ever seen. This one's quite interesting to me. This is called Prismatic Precipation. And it's kind of like a snowy, wintry version of the Starstorm Insomnia and Starstorm Slumber effect. It's these falling snowflakes with a glow behind them of these like wintry sparkles. And it definitely is the same kind of vibes as the Starstorm effect, the way they fall down and leave like this afterglow. This would be a really awesome winter variant, and for sure I could definitely imagine Valve adding this. I feel like it would be a relatively low tier effect in terms of trading, but it's really pretty nonetheless. And once again, when it comes to layering, imagine just putting this with a Blizzardy Storm, or even the variant of Blizzardy Storm that we saw earlier. That would be a fantastic combination. This has got to be one of my favourites, and I remember talking about this in the scrapped video that never got released. This is Demon's Eye, and as you can see, it's got very like Lord of the Rings vibes. If you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, it's essentially like the Eye of Sauron, but it's amazing. It's these like fiery particles coming out of this orb in the middle, and in the orb in the middle, it's this big, all-seeing, like snake-looking eye, and there's 3 different colours of it. There's the orange, the green, and the purple. I would 1,000,000,000% like have to pick myself up an all-class hat with the orange variant of this. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, this will have a special place in your heart as the Eye of Sauron, and I'm definitely a Lord of the Rings fan, so amazing, amazing effect. I would love to see this added. It would 1,000,000,000% be a Scream Fortress Halloween effect, and for sure, like, that it's getting the upvote as well. It's had the upvote as well. Here is quite possibly one of the highest tier effects in the workshop, I imagine. This is Eerie Burning Flames, and it's a purple variant of the Burning and Scorching Flames. And we know how much they're worth. It's kind of like, to me, a mixture between Burning Flames and Nebula. It's the kind of purples and the blues of Nebula mixed into the flames, and those are 2 incredibly high tier effects that would make for an even higher tier effect. This would 1,000,000,000% be a Halloween effect. As you can see, it's got the Halloween tag, and it just kind of reminds me of like a witch's cauldron or like something kind of evil brewing. But either way, this would be an incredibly high tier effect. I would love to see this added. I feel like they're missing a trick by not having a 3rd flame effect, and this would be a perfect opportunity to add one. So this is the first unusual weapon effect we have, and this is called Synth Waves, and it's these kind of waves coming out the end of the gun. As you can see, it's got this like under kind of plasma floating around the barrel of the gun, but then it's got these waves that look like they're flowing into like the shooting part or out of the shooting part. I love the colors used in this. I really like how it glows around the top as well. This is just a really nice effect, and I imagine this would be pretty high tier as well. I think this would be particularly nice on a minigun, for example, that like when it spins as well. I could just imagine this being really, really nice in game. I'm sure Arkamo would be a fan of this one. Up next, we have these Lunar Mists effect, and there's 3 of them. There's a red variant, a yellow variant, and a purple variant. And these are essentially like, they kind of remind me of kind of Harvest Moon and that, but it's more focused around the moon. As you can see, it's a cloud with bats flying around it and a moon kind of at the top of it. And the moon has this sort of glow. If I can open up this one in particular, the moon has this sort of glow around it, and it's much more emphasized, and the bats kind of emerge from the dark cloud underneath. This is a fantastic effect. I love all 3 of them. I think the purple and the red, especially the red, would be amazing in game. I'd love to see these added in a Scream Fortress update. I could definitely imagine it as well. These would be very high tier for sure. And guys, the last effect we're going to be looking at is the Lucky 8. This is a super basic one. It's a kind of orbiting effect similar to the kind of orbiting fire kind of effects like that. It's an 8 ball, so like a snooker 8 ball, just orbiting around. It's got these white kind of glowing rings around it, and it leaves a white trail. It's a very very basic effect. I imagine it would be pretty cool for layering if you had something in the middle like a white effect, so a frostbite or even a white energy combo would be pretty cool. It's just a very basic effect. I really like it. It would be pretty low tier, I can imagine. But guys, that is just about it for this video. If you did enjoy them, please do remember to leave a like and let me know your thoughts down below, along with which of the effects in this video you'd like to see most and could definitely imagine being added into the game. If you want to see me do more workshop type content, then once again let me know down in the comments below. This was super fun for me to do, and yeah guys, thanks again so much for watching, and peace. Feeling good, mate, it's never gonna come like Skate 4. I'm so consistent like my heartbeat, always up the top like Vardy. In the scene nobody's getting past me, you think you're better than me hardly. On my ones like a one-man army, gotta grind up and get myself a car G. Cop a nice yard with the palm trees, but until then I'll focus on my craft. See I get a lot of hate like trash guys, stop but your girl gets gassed at the track time.